What did I think of the Mass as a kid? It was one of the most painful events I ever had to participate in. As a young person with ADHD, dyslexia, and then in a culture that was constantly regressing away from mystery and holiness, it was just something to sit through. So I sat there and jabbered my knee up and down like a jackhammer the entire time, and was bored out of my mind and knew nothing about it. That whole notion of when I was able to abandon Mass and going to church, it was when I went off to college. I know when my time with my parents, even when my parents separated, they still took taking us to Mass as a high responsibility. We went to Mass every Sunday. We never missed. And even there were nights that I would go out and misbehave. And if I was out till 2 a.m, 8 o'clock in the morning, Dad was dragging me out of bed to take me to church. I underestimate and I undervalue that witness that my dad gave, that how important it was to go to Mass, even regardless of what the context was. So I think there was an impact made there that affected me in my adult life. And then when I went off to college, it was just a total free-for-all. I slept in every Sunday. It was interesting because I started off at Sam Houston State in Huntsville, and the dormitory that I was staying in was literally directly across the street from the Newman Center. And I had no idea it was there. There was nothing that I ever had this moment where I said, you know, it'd be really cool. Hey, let's go to church today. What got me it was the invitation of someone I respected. It was a relationship that I had. And I tell the story of my business partners, Mike and Anton, and Mike is a devout Catholic. Anton is now Catholic. At the time, he was not. But they both took faith radically seriously. And I saw their witnesses and their commitments to God. Our business relationship was about the battle of the best idea. I could walk into Mike's office or Anton's office and say, you know what, we're going the wrong direction with this product. We need to make this adjustment. Or on this feature, we need to make this change. And we would discuss it and we would make the best decision for the company. Because we had that relationship, when Mike said to me, hey, why don't you come to Mass with me and my family sometime? I didn't blow it off because of the respect that I had for him and because I knew that he's not an idiot, he's no dummy, and if he takes it seriously, it's worth for me to go and maybe just learn something and have something add value to my life. So really at the end of the day, it was the invitation that was made to me that helped me get over myself to experience something new. What I came to appreciate about the Mass later in life that I wish I would have had as a child is everything. For the 1980s and 1990s where I was involved with the Catholic Church, Mass was about showing up, checking the box, sit, stand, kneel, third and fourth collection, and that was it. And then the donuts afterwards, like the donuts was like the eighth sacrament, right? You get donuts if you go to Mass. No one opened up to me the mystical realities of the Mass, that at the sign of the cross, heaven and earth unite. We are literally drawn into the very presence of God. That there are angelic processions that take place at Mass, that Calvary is represented, that the blood and water that flows from the side of Christ is actively washing over and touching each and every one of us. That Mass is not about receiving Holy Communion. No one talks about Mass is not about receiving Holy Communion, but rather Mass is about going to the Father through the worship of Jesus's offering on Calvary. So we go to the Father through the Son in the Holy Spirit, and we pour ourselves out completely from the sign of the cross through the great doxology, that offering, through him, with him, and in him. That is why we go to Mass. And then once we pour ourselves out at Mass, giving ourselves to the Father says, no, you're not going to outdo me in generosity. Not only through Calvary do you have your redemption and divine adoption, I will now feed you with my Son. And so my whole perception of Mass, even after my reversion, was Mass was about going to receive Jesus in the Eucharist. No one talked to me about Mass is about going to worship the Father through the sacrifice of the Son. And that's the point of the Mass. And so when you change your mindset from I am going to receive, instead of now I am going to give. I'm going to give the Father what? Eucharistia, Eucharist, thanksgiving. For what? my redemption and divine adoption. And if you give God your very best every Sunday, He will never be outdone in generosity. Your life will forever change.